to a new video for Rock Your Business. My name is Suzanne Beenakkers and I live in Nijmegen. And a couple of months ago I started this channel because I've been studying marketing for a very long time. And during about 20 years I had my own business, and I discovered it was one of those things that I'm really passionate about and I just love sharing. So that's why I have this business channel. Currently I don't have a business, and that was really one of the reasons why I kind of dropped out of being here, got shy being here, because I was like, well, I'm not selling anything right now, and maybe I'm never going to sell anything. You know, maybe I'll just be a YouTuber and a writer and not be, don't have a, a business model that you can say, oh, that's what she sells, or that's the profession that she has. So that kind of like made me shy. And then I went into the vaccination center to get my vaccination, and it was such a horrible experience. And I tackled that in several ways, and I got some great life lessons out of it, like stuff that I would probably not have learned any other way, stuff about myself and about, well, my values really, but that's another video. So that was really great. And now it's a few days ago, and suddenly this marketing lesson came out. Like, I looked at the situation with the vaccination center and I was like, oh, this is a great topic for my business channel, like a priceless topic. After this video, you will understand exactly how to sell for your business, how to be a good business, how to have extremely happy customers, how to be happy yourself in that relationship, and just how to have your business and the experience of being with you be really, really great. So get a pen and paper. I'm first gonna go into the ranty bit, and then I'm gonna give you all the gems, give you all the gold, and you can just like write it out and see immediately, oh, that's what I'm gonna do. So get a pen and paper out. If you're very slow on time, or if you don't want to low on time, or if you don't want to hear the probably a bit ranty example that I'm going to give about what happened in the vaccination center, then I'm going to put the timestamp below in the description box, like X minutes and X seconds. And if you drop in there, then you go immediately to the model that you can apply, or the wisdom of it that you can apply to your business and to how you can serve your customers. So either skip the intro, skip my story, immediately go to that one if you want to want to have it really clear, or stick around and to get entertained. Let me entertain you. So I was at the vaccination center, and I was not making a big deal out of it. I was going there and I was just like, get this over with, and it's more of a social thing. Like, I'm not going to have conversations with people around me for the upcoming 2 years if I'm vaccinated or not, or if I've gone through an infection or not, or I'm like, I will get vaccinated and then that's it. That's like the end of the conversation. So it was more a social thing, because I don't want to be in that, in that whole discussion about whether to get vaccinated or who is vaccinated. I'm just like, get it freaking over with, and so that it doesn't stand between me and other people. Well, it's a whole different story about people who are feel uncomfortable being with vaccinated people, but okay, I guess I made my choice there, that I'm okay, I'm just going with the majority here, and the majority will feel safer if I'm vaccinated, so let's go with that. So I wasn't really thinking much of it, and then I went through the experience, and I could see that it was perfectly okay for other people. Everybody, also on social media, is like in big praise over how well it is structured, the process, how easygoing it is, how friendly everybody is. And I went through it, and I was like, I felt I had kind of like lost my entire reason to exist. That I was so out of integrity that I was just speechless. I was just like, well, I could also be dead right now and it wouldn't make any difference because I'm so out of integrity that everything that comes out of my mouth is, there's nothing that can now come out of my mouth that is of any value because I have been so out of what makes me me and so out of everything that I stand for that I've basically just lost the right to exist. So it was so, and no one could help me. I had like friends and family, checking in. They've been checking in before the vaccination, but I was like, why are you checking in? I'm just getting vaccinated. And then they were checking in the day after, and I was like, I'm just in a really bad place. You can't help me now. It's, and they didn't understand, of course. And I also didn't have the vocabulary to explain what happened because it was so raw. I couldn't explain it. So that was really painful, and and it was really bad for the friendship because you have people who want to help you, and you're just so raw. You're just so in like full shame out of what you have done, and at the same time, that you don't have the vocabulary yet to explain yourself, and you just need to shut yourself off for right now. Now, first of all, so this is what can happen if you're selling your shit to the wrong people. Selling your shit. that was because I was in this super negative story. Although it's also kind of like a funny word. But if you're in a relationship with the wrong customer, or if you're selling at the wrong time to the customer, which is what this story was also about, then this is like the most negative scenario that can happen. What happened to me was basically a marketing fail. And that was what I saw today. Oh, so all that drama, all that kind of like, I've just lost my entire reason for existence. Now that I've stooped down to this level of life, today I woke up and was like, oh, that was just a marketing fail. This is just a matter of not, of marketing or messaging to the wrong crowd or at the wrong time. And this could so easily been solved. And ironically, I just saw a piece on like the local news site, not local, but national news site, that they were worrying about how they were going to sell the vaccinations to people under 30 or under 25. And I read that and I was like, oh yeah, you should worry. Because they're gonna, like, I'm not saying that they will respond exactly the way I do, but they will need an entirely different approach in order to get the same satisfying results as that the Netherlands has gotten with all the other, 40 plus people except me. Like, I'm like the exception. I'm the only one who's like, wanting to just lost her entire reason for existence. And all the other people are really satisfied with what they got, and it was so well organized. And so, but if they really want to sell the vaccination process to people below 30 or people below 25, yeah, that's gonna be a different story, So I don't know if people watching this who are in any way part of the vaccination program in the Netherlands, but they can also keep watching this because you will get some great pointers on how to sell to that crowd. So I've said it before on this channel, we're all like, when you have a business, you're in the business of making people feel good. That's really the only business that anybody has ever been in their entire life, unless you are in like Bitcoin trade or something. If you are in in a business that doesn't have clients, but you're just in the business of making money, then you don't have this. Then your business is not to make other people feel good. But most of us are in the business of making people feel good, because most of us are in a business where at some point someone's going to have to pay us. So I've said it before, the only business that you are in is the business of making people feel good. Now, as the story illustrates, it is important to know who you're talking to in order to make them feel good. The story illustrates that what made all the other 40 plus, I say 40 plus because that's kind of like the population that has gotten their first vaccination here in the Netherlands. So that's the part of the population that has shared their stories about the vaccination. So if you want to make that population happy, then something else is required than making the people below 25 happy. And me, but I was like kind of like the odd one out. And I have found a really great way, a really great analogy from marketing to illustrate this. And that is that you have the Nike Air crowd, like the crowd that is interested in buying the Nike Air as soon as it comes out. Now, I don't know if you've seen the documentary, but like from the 80s already, these shoes were in such high demand that people would sleep on the sidewalk to be able to get their hands on the new pairs. So there was a high scarcity and there was a high demand. And this resulted in people doing everything to, and still results in people doing everything to get their hands on a pair of Nike Airs. Or I don't know if it's Nike Air anymore. I'm actually made up, but it was they have this kind of like elite shoe line, which they keep very limited. And even like 35 years after they launched it, it's still in high demand, and they've been able to kind of like keep that level up. Now, what happens if you're selling if you're vaccinating your population after 15 months of pandemic, is you have a Nike Air situation, which means you don't have to make the sales process pleasant. You don't have to come to the people to sell them your vaccine. They will come to you. They will sleep on the sidewalk. They will accept any circumstances about where it is that the sale is made or that the vaccine is given. That is your Nike Air crowd, and these are your kind of fans. These are the people that know what you're selling and that they wanna have it at any cost. And what you should do is reward them. And the easiest way to reward them is by labeling them. Acknowledge that you have customers who are always first in, who are like your elite customers, who are your, it's kind of a dull word, but like your early birds, or your elite customers, your who are always first in. Another label that I know that is kind of related to this is foundational members. Whenever you are selling a new product or a new program, who are your foundational clients or your first clients, or if it's a program, your foundational members. I think it's a great word to use whenever you are in the business of selling courses. Who are your foundational members? So that's the people who will want to get it first. And by labeling them, you're acknowledging that there will be other stages of selling where you will be doing different things. Maybe the price will go down, but this is the foundational stage. This is the people who are in there first. These are your fans. This is like your core elite group of clients. So that is, and you don't have to fancy it up. You can. So I had my vaccination in a tent on the countryside between the cows. You can sell your thing in, like, if that had been Tony Robbins is like the Nike Air of personal development coaches. Tony Robbins can give his seminar in a tent on the countryside between the cows. Nike Air can sell their shoes in a tent on the countryside between the cows. So, and you can also, after 15 months of pandemic, you can sell your vaccine. Sell is as in, getting money for it, but they are buying from you. So you can give those vaccines out, and having people go through a very lengthy registration process where they have to have their letter, their invitation, and they have to install an app, and they have to have all their their social security numbers, and these people, they will go through lengths to get there, and to get to the tent and to get registered. So that's an elite crowd, and you don't have to fancy it up. You don't have to have everything perfect. These are the people who want to be there first, and that's the first stage of selling. Your first stage of selling is selling to this elite crowd. Every time that you have something new, you're going to tailor it to that crowd. So you're going to get it to market ASAP. You don't have to have any price reductions or anything like that. You don't have to butter it up. You only have to sell it. You have to say, hey, it's here, be here first. If anybody wants to have it now is the time to buy. So this is really a very powerful stage of you selling it every time you have something new. Then you have the second phase, and that is that you're going to bring it to the people who are unsure, or they kind of like need it to be a good experience in when they come to you. So they need to be affirmed that they're doing the right thing. They need to be seen. They need to have it brought to them. They need bonuses. They need discounts. That is a completely different approach. And that will obviously be the majority. The majority of the people will need you to make it more palatable, is that the word? Will need you to make it interesting. And here is where the making people feel good comes in, because where your elite group is very much into the kind of like more abstract marketing, just like the Nike Air, it's very abstract. It's kind of like this level where your product or service is an identity thing, and they identify with that product so much that you don't have to show up very much as a company or as a person. Now, for the second group, this is entirely different. They do not identify with what it is you have to sell, and it becomes way more important that you as a person or as a company show up for the relationship. So how does that look like? Well, to get the vaccination as an example, It is you show up for the relationship regardless if they buy or not. So what the Dutch government, or basically any government, should do is they show up in a conversation with their citizens with regard to COVID, and they say, okay, you can call us, we're here for you. If you have any questions, like about your children going to school or about your work or about anything like that, call us. And we also have a vaccination program if you're interested in that. And like you can, so you offer the vaccination program, the thing that you want to sell, you offer it as a part of the relationship that you're building with your customer. So that means that, for example, I used to be a yoga teacher. A yoga teacher can show up in the conversation with people who are interested in getting physically better or improving their night's sleep or becoming more calm and poised. A yoga teacher can show up in the conversation, and then I show up and like on social media or on the local health market or anywhere else, I show up in the conversation about health and about sleep and about meditation and about mindfulness. I show up in the conversation. I kind of hold the space for people to tell their story, and I give people a card and I say, this is my company, or my yoga studio, this is what I offer. And we have some interesting programs, or we have some programs tailored to your need. Let us know if we can do something with you, or for you, or if you want to join us for a class. So you show up in a relationship. The Dutch government should show up in a relationship with their citizens with regard to COVID. Just like a yoga teacher can show up in a relationship, in a conversation with regard to health. You show up in the conversation with everybody. So it's not like, oh, you're not buying, then I'm not in a conversation with you. You show up for the conversation. That's what you do for the second group. And that makes people feel at ease. And it makes it a very genuine and in integrity, and a sales process that is very much in integrity, because you're not saying, if you're not buying from me, then I'm not seeing you. You say, I'm seeing you. I'm here for your questions, regardless of what choice you make about, this area of your life. So that's what you do. And then you only sell it to the hell yeses. And why is that? Why do you only sell to the hell yeses? Because of two things. One is because if it's not a hell yes, but you kind of like sneaked your way in there, you kind of like, pulled that money right out of their pocket, and they regret it the next day, then you're going to get disappointed customers. And there's nothing as draining and as bad for your product or service or company as dissatisfied customers. So you must have the bar all the way up there where people are really happy to buy. When they're like, yes, I want that. That's really great. I'm in. Count me in. And so you're in a relationship with everyone, but you only sell to the ones who really want to have it in order to keep your to keep your name high or good. I don't know how you say that exactly, but to have a good reputation, in order to keep customer service manageable. You only sell if someone really wants it. So conversation with everyone, but you're selling only to the people who really want to buy from you. And now here we come, and also you make it very easy for people to pay you. That's also very important. So we're no longer talking about that first group who will sleep on the sidewalk, who will go to the countryside, to a tent between the cows in order to get your product. We're talking about people who are in a conversation with you, in a relationship with you, and who may or may not want to buy your thing. But when they have decided that they want it, it should be very, very easy for them to pay you and to get it. It should be like a button that says, hell yes, sign me up, I want to get vaccinated, and it's done. Or hell yes, sign me up, and then it's a link to their credit card or other payment system. So, so those are things to keep in aspects to keep in mind for that second group, which is not your kind of like, Nike Air fan base, but well, let's just say normal people, people who also have other things on your mind than your latest new shoes. So, and then we move to the third stage, and this is really the stage where it starts to pay off, that you did so much, that you did so much, you invested so much in those other two groups. And that is the stage where you start a relationship, where you maintain your relationship with your existing customers, and the existing customers start to become a higher and higher percentage of what you sell. So, for example, with the vaccination, if you get a vaccine, I think you should get like a beautiful little card that said, thank you very much for your vaccine. And the upcoming 3 years, we will have a service center for you for all your questions. Don't hesitate to call us. And we're also on Facebook and social media, whatever. So you encourage these people to stay in a conversation with you, so that like in 1 year from now, when they so that they feel seen in their purchase or in their vaccination, whatever it is, and you like with the vaccine, if in 1 year from now a new vaccine comes out, or like an additional vaccine that you can get, an additional shot, if you have worked and invested in your relationship with the people who got vaccinated in 2021, then you can very easily offer them the follow-up shot, because you're already in that relationship with them. Same goes for your products. If you take that third stage where you are in a continuous conversation with your customers, serious, then your new things will practically sell themselves. So that is really very important. So, and that's also where it becomes easy, and that's where it's become fun, and like that is where the people that have bought your product or that have taken the vaccination start doing your marketing. They start telling stories about it was so great, and I went to the yoga class, and she came up to me after class, and she asked me how it went, and she said, if you have any questions, DM me on Twitter or on Instagram, or email me, and I hope to see you next week. That is really where your student or your client or the person who took the vaccine will go tell their friends. And that's not because you did the marketing right in, phase 1 to your core audience, to your Nike Air crowd, phase 2 to your broader audience. That is because you have done the customer service thing, the relationship management, the continuously making people feel good, even after they have spent their money with you. That's because you did that part right. So that is really the 3 phases for 3 different groups of marketing. The first, your kind of like hardcore peeps, Nike Air crowd, the crowd that was in that tent, that after 15 months of pandemic will do anything to get the vaccine, and they are thrilled to get it. Phase 1. Phase 2, your broader audience, the people who need to be in the relationship with you continuously and you showing up for them. The people who should be able to buy from you in a very easy way when it's a hell yes. And then the third phase, and that is the third phase is the you focusing on existing customers from phase 1 and phase 2. So that was it for today. I hope you got some really great gems out of it. If you have watched the video, the first part, the story of the tent and why I felt, like really, really, really awful, it was because I, as someone who was, I'm like, I want to buy shoes. I'm not like very emotionally invested in the shoes. I want them for a good price, and I want to be, I want the shopping process to be pleasant, and I had fallen into the Nike Air launch where people were sleeping on the sidewalk. That was basically that's why I say that my experience in that tent was a marketing problem. It was, I entered this, the distribution of the vaccines when it was really still in a phase where it's, where the people who are like really diehard vaccine fans are absolutely okay and really grateful that it's available. But I needed a little bit more pampering. I was like, I was definitely not that crowd, and I didn't know that until I wouldn't say it was too late, but because I got a great story and I got all these marketing gems from it. But so I didn't know that about myself, and now I'm like, that really makes sense. So I hope. I hope the Dutch government, ups up on their marketing skills and gets something good in place for the second group. And I hope that you are very successful with whatever it is you're selling. And I'm going to see you next time.